is up YouTube? It's Aditya S, and today I'm going to be installing as well as showing you how to install your graphics card or GPU into your pre-built computer. So first of all, I'm going to help you choose the right GPU for you. So how do we do this? To choose your own GPU to fit into your pre-built computer, there's some things you need to keep in mind. One of them is compatibility. For example, my computer is like 5 years old. It's the HP compact small form factor computer, and it's quite old. 5 years is pretty old, to be honest. But let's think about it. Some of the newer models of graphics cards will not work on this older computer. So you must figure out if your computer is one of the older ones or if it's one of the newer ones. 1 or 2 years old, you might be able to use any GPU on the market. But if it's one of the older computers like mine, you might need to find the list, which I'm gonna display on the screen right now. But you're gonna have to find the list of GPUs that actually do work with your with your computer. So basically, over here I have my GPU, and it costs $35 since I'm not gonna be doing some serious gaming, just maybe like Minecraft and stuff. But I have this GPU right here, and before we open this up, I just have to talk to you about one more thing. So you also have to choose what's in your price range. Let's say you are upgrading your computer. You don't want to be using a graphics card that's really good, like a $300 graphics card, if all you're gonna be doing is daily work and editing Word documents. But let's say you're gaming or you're video editing, then you're gonna need something more capable. You're gonna need a better GPU, and in this case you're gonna be needing a higher end GPU. So for example, most graphics cards can range from $15, this one's $35 as I said, up to $300. And you can even get better graphics cards for small, easy payments of $100. So let's think about the NVIDIA Pascal graphics card. It costs 16 easy payments of $100, or in other words, $1,600 just for the graphics card, not even for the computer. So that would be something if you're serious about gaming. But for me, all I want to do is play Minecraft. So here I go with my $35 Quadro NVS 295 series NVIDIA graphics card. So one part of this installation is going to be putting the GPU actually into the computer and assembling it. The next part though is going to be simply basically installing the graphics driver and removing your old GPU. And you might not have a GPU, but don't be worried, you might actually have an onboard GPU already installed into your motherboard without any external GPU needed. So I actually have one of those, so I'll go through the setup for that as well. So let's go ahead and open this up, and as you can see, it's in packaging, and here we go. Here is our NVIDIA Quadro 295 NVS graphics card. So as you can see, here we go. And it came in an anti-static bag, and I'm just gonna be holding it by this metal part so I don't damage any of the components. But here we go. It's not exactly got any external fan or anything, because that's not really needed, because it's not gonna be running some serious games or anything, just Minecraft, as I keep saying. But it looks pretty capable. As you can see, here's the back. It says NVIDIA Quadro 295 on the side, and here's the front. Oops, let me just pick this up this way. Here is the front. But one thing you need to know about is that if you are getting one of those higher end GPUs, you might need these things called PCIe connectors, which are just basically things that you can use to connect your your power supply unit to the GPU, because it needs some external power. This one is not going to be running too much, so then it won't need that. It can drain the power from the motherboard, which is already connected to the PSU. As you can see, there's no PCIe connectors, but I will show a picture on screen of that right now. So for example, we have the 4+4 12-volt power cable here, and then next we have the 6-pin PCI Express power cable, then the 6+2 PCI Express power cable here, then finally the 8-pin EPS 12-volt power cable, and actually this one's the final, but it's the 8-pin PCI Express power cable here, and these all plug into your GPU. And one other thing you need to know is that you actually have to be very careful with this graphics card. So as you saw earlier, what you should always do is touch like a piece of metal, as you can see here, or I'm gonna touch this tripod right over here, before actually touching any of the, let's just call it the green parts of the graphics card, just so you don't, you know, like fry your graphics card and then you have to buy a new one. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead with the setup, and the first thing we're gonna be doing is just basically taking out the graphics driver from your already running PC, and then replacing it with this GPU inside the hardware, and then installing the driver software, which for there is a CD, but chances are we are not going to use this because this might be outdated. But anyways, let's get on with the next step. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is basically go and uninstall your drivers, your display drivers. So to do this, you have to go to Device Manager, which can be done by right clicking here and Device Manager. Or an alternative method to this is to click on the Windows screen and search up update device drivers, as you can see here, and all you have to do is click that. So the next thing you need to do is basically go into display adapters, double click here, and right click on the display adapter that is there, and what you want to do is uninstall. And now and you also want to delete the driver software. I'm gonna OK, and there you go. As you can see, this suddenly turned into a really bad resolution, and this is because the computer drivers, the ones that are inbuilt in the computer, just kicked in, and these are really bad, as you can see. So don't worry about too much about this. All you have to do now is shut down your computer, and we can go on to the next step. Okay, so here we go, and we have our Dell computer, and as I previously mentioned, I was describing my HP compact computer. This is a Dell computer because I already installed the graphics card into that computer, and now when I wanted to do the video, it actually wouldn't come out. So I'm just gonna use my dad's computer to show you how to install the graphics card. The specs are very similar, and they're both around like 5 years old. So anyways, to get started, we have the GPU right over here, and then we have the computer over here. The first thing you want to do is open up the case. So for all computers, this step's gonna be different. For this computer, I'm just gonna have to unscrew these two screws, one and two over here, and slide this panel and open it up, as you can see there. The next thing I have to do is just open this and take this piece of metal out. So as you can see, now over here we have the slot for our GPU to go in. So I already have this open over here, but what you're gonna have are these like sliding metal bars. You're gonna have to pull it out in correspondence to the slot you're gonna be inserting it in. So let's say I wanted to insert the GPU over here. Over here, I'd have to just slide this open. But anyways, we already have this open, so let's get started. First, I'm just going to touch the case to make sure no static electricity goes onto the GPU. And then carefully take the GPU and hold it by the edges and position it over the slot I want it to go in. And you have to make sure that like the smaller part, the smaller pin area, matches in with the smaller pin area on the slot as well, so that you don't damage or break your GPU. So I'm just gonna go ahead, align that carefully and firmly push it in, and there we go, it's in. Now as I said, the specs of this computer and the GPU I had before are similar, so this one also does not have any PCIe connectors. If you do have a PCIe connector, you can connect it to your power supply unit right now. The next thing all I have to do is just push this back in, put this piece of metal over here, and just basically put the computer in the same way that it was before. Oops. And there we go, we're done. And now let's get on with the software part. Okay, so as you can see, this is the boot up of my computer upon installing the GPU or graphics card into my computer. So as you can see here, what I've opened up is the download device drivers page for both NVIDIA, Intel, as well as AMD. 3 companies that are really well known in making GPUs, except Intel, which only makes GPUs that are inbuilt in your motherboard. So first of all, basically all you have to do is find your company. In my case it's NVIDIA. Put in your product type, Quadro, and as you can see I have the GPU which is called Quadro NVS 295. The product type is Quadro, but as you can see the series NVS isn't coming up here. So as you can see, all you have to do is click show all product series and Quadro NVS series, and now you have to pay attention to things like that if you're getting a lower end or older version of a GPU, because the company whose device driver you're buying from, getting the device driver from, might not be like recommending that GPU, and that's why they might hide it, as you just saw there. So the product is the Quadro NVS 295. Operating system is 8.164-bit. We go here and let's go ahead and search. But before we click search, there's one thing you can always go to as your failsafe if this doesn't work. For all 3 of these websites, which is why I opened all 3 tabs, all you have to do is you can also automatically find drivers for your NVIDIA, Intel, and AMD products. As you can see here, you can automatically update your drivers in Intel, and you can automatically detect and install your driver here as well. So anyways, let's just go ahead and search, and here we go. Download. And I'm just going to skip and continue, agree and download, and the download has started. And here we go. Let's just click on this and it should open any second now. Here we go. Because you can just click yes, sure, and it should download. And as you can see, here is the boot up of our NVIDIA graphics driver. And there's going to be a similar thing to this for both Intel as well as AMD. All you have to do is manually or automatically detect and install your driver. Over here, the same thing. and then you should get like an installer, which is going to ask you to agree to some licenses and like ask you some install options, and then it should work in just a few seconds. After you're done with this, all you have to do is reboot your computer and you're good to go. You can play any games.